Hi, in this video, we'll cover every step on how to easily deploy a game server to host Photon Fusion's 2's Asteroid multiplayer sample for 2 players in Unity Engine, using EdgeGap's own Fusion 2 Asteroid sample in its game server hosting platform. Let's get to it. Alongside this video, we recommend following our documentation. A link is available in the description and in the comments. First, use the link to download EdgeGap's modified Fusion 2 Asteroid sample. Select code and download the zip file. Then, unzip the file on your computer. Starting from an all-new project from Unity's hub, select Install Editor and select the Unity 6 LTS version. As of recording, Unity 6.0 is the long-term release, or LTS. Newer version may have incremental improvements, but are very likely to break certain functionalities. As such, we strongly recommend using LTS version to ensure that compatibility works on this sample and your development project in general. Now, back to the projects menu. Select Add and then Add from Disk. Locate the sample and select its main folder. Here, Unity is likely going to warn you about a missing Unity version. As previously stated, the latest LTS as of recording is 6000.0.56F1. Ignore this warning and select the latest LTS version. While you can use the latest recommended version, be aware it could break your project. The next step is to deploy a game server to have player connect to the host and play online. EdgeGap is a game server orchestration platform tailored for multiplayer games, which helps you host your multiplayer game easily. First, create a free EdgeGap account, input your email and a password, and opt in into our terms. You'll then instantly get a verification email. Click on Confirm your email to validate your account. Finally, input your organization's name and confirm. This is EdgeGap's dashboard. We strongly recommend exploring it with a tour, but we'll skip it for this video. EdgeGap has automated the process of creating an app version using Photon Fusion 2's Asteroid sample. While you can create a version manually, simply head over to our documentation and select the Create a New App version for your application link, which is also available in the description and comments. The Create an Application prompt is now pre-filled. Select Create an Application, then select the Fusion 2 Asteroid Unity button, which automatically fills the application's metadata. Scroll down and select Submit. The Create a Port prompt highlights the accurate port and the protocol. Scroll down again and select Submit. Return to Unity's editor. Close the welcome message, and from the top navigation bar, select Tools, then EdgeGap Hosting. Automatically, the plugin connects itself to your EdgeGap account. If not, select Get a Token to create one in the platform. Step 2 to 6, thanks to the sample, are already pre-filled. Scroll down to the Deploy a Server on EdgeGap section and select the Deploy to Cloud button. After a few seconds, a new window in your web browser should appear. Click on the deployment to open its detail page, which highlights where the game server was deployed, which can be useful for troubleshooting with Fusion 2. Please make sure to know the URL to which players must connect to. Available under the host section, copy it. To test out multiplayer, first open Fusion 2's sample and filter the assets to scene. Then, double-click on the scene named Asteroids simple-menu.unity. Certain users may get an error as Photon requires its rooms to be connected to the Photon Cloud region where the deployment is located. If you do, reopen Fusion from the Tool tab from the top menu and select Real-Time Settings. In the Inspector tab, open App Settings and under Fixed Region. You will need to input the region your deployment was made from. It must match Photon's list in their documentation as shown on screen. In this example, the code from the right column is Asia. You can also cross-reference from the platform's own deployment location if you're unsure where your deployment was made. Make sure to save, return to the editor, and start the sample by clicking the Play button. Now, paste the host URL copied from the deployment in the field called Room Name. Finally, select Start EdgeGap, which connects the game to your previously deployed game server. Congratulations! You've deployed your first game server. Online multiplayer requires more than one player. To simulate this, you need the Multiplayer Play Mode package or Parallel Sync, as we have multiple videos showcasing how to use Unity's Multiplayer Play Mode, which is linked on the screen. We'll use Parallel Sync in this video. First, install Parallel Sync through its Git. Once installed, it will appear in the top navigation bar. Select Parallel Sync, then Clones Manager, and finally, create a new clone. After some loading time, select Open in New Editor. Now, an entirely new project, cloned from the initial one, opens up. This allows you to simulate a second player. We'll move each window to make things easier to see, but this is purely optional. The second to last step is to start the game scene in Unity. Select Start Edge Gap within both windows, and as you can see, both players appear. Congratulations! You're now using Photon Fusion 2's Asteroid demo to play multiplayer online using EdgeGap's game server hosting platform. EdgeGap's Photon Fusion 2's Asteroid sample is a great way to learn about Photon multiplayer. The next step in your development journey is likely to add a matchmaker, whose tutorial is linked on this screen. Thanks for watching.